What's up, Star Wars fans? Today I want to review episode 6 of the Ahsoka series, Far, Far Away. And this 6th episode of the series starts with Ahsoka and Huyang. Ahsoka reveals to Huyang that Sabine Wren actually went along with the villains willingly. And I gotta say I was a little disappointed at this interaction, as Ahsoka seems to have lost some of the optimism she gained at the end of episode 5, and seems to be struggling with the fear of what might happen and what her apprentice Sabine Wren may have caused. That said, that discussion between Huyang and Ahsoka's concerns certainly sets up the rest of the episode, as Morgan Elsbeth and the other villains find their way to Peridia, an ancient Night Sisters planet in this far-off galaxy. Morgan Elsbeth, Baylan, Shin, and Sabine all take a transport down to the planet and meet with 3 Night Sisters. I gotta say, these Night Sisters look and sound amazing in live action, and I just love how Dave Filoni is bringing so many elements of the Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels into this series. And although I predicted that we probably wouldn't see Thrawn until the end of this episode, he's introduced fairly early on, but overall he did look a little off, and certainly was a major departure from the Thrawn in Star Wars Rebels. For example, Lars Mikkelsen just doesn't have the imposing athletic build that the Thrawn did in Star Wars Rebels. But what I absolutely did love is the look of Thrawn's stormtroopers. The modifications to the armor just made them look so cool, and truly a veteran force. And I also love the subtle reveal that it was actually Thrawn that talked to the Night Sisters about sending a message to Morgan Elsbeth, and that is how Morgan Elsbeth knew to build the Eye of Zion and travel to Peridia. And just one little bit of dialogue, Dave Filoni makes that all very clear. From there, the villains decide to send Sabine Wren out into the wild. They're basically using her as bait to draw out Ezra Bridger, and once Sabine does find Ezra, it'll be up to Baylan and Shin to take them out. And I'm sure some people will criticize Dave Filoni's writing that this is all a little too easy, that the fact that Ezra and Thrawn are on the same planet, well, that's awfully convenient for our story. But overall, I think it works because I'm very excited to see episodes 7 and 8 and where they go. But that said, I'm getting ahead of myself here. Sabine sets out from the Night Sisters' stronghold. She has what looks like a Loth Wolf companion with her, and before she leaves, she's warned about the bandits that are all over this planet. So of course we know that she's going to get ambushed by said bandits, and I gotta say I really enjoyed this action sequence. It was great to see Sabine kicking ass. I love how she was able to use her Mandalorian guns and armor at the beginning, but to really pull through this fight she had to pull out Ezra's lightsaber and use her Jedi training. It's around this time that we see Baylan and Shin leaving the Night Sisters fortress as well, but before they leave, Baylan says something very important about the rise and fall of empires in their known galaxy, and how ultimately his goal is to end that cycle. So even though he is working for Thrawn and Morgan, as we've suspected, it seems like Baylan has his own agenda. I mean, personally, I love this character, and I can't wait to see how things are going to play out over the next couple episodes. That said, the biggest surprise of this episode is that Sabine Wren is able to track down Ezra Bridger. And although Sabine can't use the Force, it certainly seems like the natural Force helps her find him, as it's her Loth Wolf-like mount that leads her to find these turtle-like alien species that eventually lead her to Ezra. And I gotta say, I did like Amon Esfande as Ezra Bridger. He certainly seemed to have a very natural connection with Natasha Liu Bordizzo as Sabine Wren, but we all know that Ezra Bridger is certainly going to be upset when he finds out that there's a good chance that Thrawn is going to be making his way back to the known galaxy, especially when Thrawn has stated that he's willing to leave Shin and Baylan behind with Sabine and Ezra. His strategic mind is set on making it back to the known Star Wars galaxy and taking control of the Imperial Remnant. I just love how this is so on point for the Thrawn character, just like his reaction to hearing that Ahsoka Tano might be hot on their trail to Peridia. When he comes to this realization, he tells Morgan Elsbeth he needs to know everything about Ahsoka. You just know he's going to be coming up with some crazy plan to try and defeat Ahsoka, and although Thrawn doesn't wield a lightsaber, he certainly is going to be a formidable opponent even for someone as powerful as Ahsoka. But hey, Star Wars fans, I can't wait to speculate about Episode 7. Let me know your predictions for the episode in the comments below. And as always, I'm Mike, and remember, the Force will be with you always.